Assalamualaikum, we are from group section 6. We present about the problematic soil and ground improvement.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Ain Atika binti Baruddin and my matrix number is CF180144. So I will present about my part for the introduction. Okay, first is we need to define what is soil. Okay, soil is usually defined as a loose mineral aggregate. Sometimes including organic matters, means the top layer earth crust that may be excavated or plowed. And then soil is considered a three-phase materials consists of rock or mineral particles, water, and even air. The space between the mineral particle in soil void contains water and air. So they are formed and namely in the soil, and each amount measurement in mineral particle, like the type of mineral particle, the particle size distribution, and the relative amount of mineral, water, and air found in the soil matrix. And subsequently, foil particles are defined as the particle with a diameter of less than 0.075 mm. So for in this case, we were tasked to study about soil problematic and ground improvement. So in this project, we will discuss together about this matter and suggestion way to improve the ground. So among the factors that make the land problematic are because of the may be due to the unpredictable weather conditions, such as like heavy rain for a long period of time becomes one of the causes, because when heavy rain falls for a very long period, then the water absorbed by the pores and enter the earth crust make the soil condition under stress water. For the objective, there are three main objectives. For these studies follow. The first one is to study the potential of saline soil regarded as a problematic deposit with poor geotechnical properties. And for second objective is we want to study about soil improvement with chemical to stabilize, such as like lime, fly ash, and cement. And the last, to recognize effect of strange soil structures.
Hi, my name is Maziatul Akmar binti Ismail and my matric number is CF180127. So I will explain about application. So the first application is leaching. So this process include good quality water with low electrolyte concentration that percolate through the soil profile to promote degradation of soil and their downward migration to avoid the deposition of excess soil in the root zone. It is a method by which salt from the upper layer of soil, which is at the top is 45 to 60 cm, are forced to pass downward much below to the root zone. So the volume of water required to reclaim a soil is determined by the texture of soil, salt present in it, volume of soil to be reclaimed, and desired soil level in the rhizosphere, as well as plant to be grown after reclamation. So when the soil has a low moisture level and the groundwater level is deep, leaching is preferred. Next, for application of flushing, through flushing, which is the surface is washing out of soil with the runoff water collectors at the slopy end of the field, so the salt can be removed. As a mean of removing soluble salt, one significant drawback of flushing is its inability to flush through the soil, and the salt have to come to the surface to be removed through flushes. So the method of flushing is used where the characteristic of moisture transmissions into profile are extremely poor. The USSL does not advocate flushing as an effective means for washing out the salt. And for application in drainage, in agriculture, drainage is the process of removing excess water from the soil. So excess water is discharged by flow over the soil surface and is referred to as surface drainage. And flow through the soil is termed internal or subsurface drainage. So the term artificial drainage and natural drainage indicate whether or not man has changed or influence the drainage process. So many factors is taken into consideration to design a drainage system. It influenced by the drainage requirement, the water transmission property of soil and boundary conditions, water application efficiencies, physiography of land, and so on. So the type of release drains are pumps, well, tiles, or open drain, and it may serve of this purpose. So the drain should be positioned below a depth of 2 meter and at a distance of 25 to 75 meter depending on the soil texture and perpendicular to the direction of the flow of groundwater.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurizwan bin Bukhari. My metric number is CF180041. For my part, I will explain about application, the irrigation method. The method of irrigation and the amount of water applied have a direct impact on the deposition and distribution of salt. Salts are usually pushed below the root zone by flood irrigation and a sufficient leaching fraction. In drip irrigated plot, water moves away from the emitter and salt concentration, where the water evaporates. Fertilizer management. Many fertilizers contain high amount of soluble salt. For example, KCI has a salt index 205 times that of K2SO4. Generally, band application should be avoided for fertilizer with high salt indicate around seedling. And application 3.6, soil amendment and water treatment. Soil amendment and water treatment also provide a particles and cost-effective way of dealing with certain issues common to saline and sodic soil. Soil application of amendment are used for initial reclamation and long-term maintenance of soil quality.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Zubaida binti Nordin. My metric number is CF180117. So, I will explain about the case study. So, for the type soil that we use in this study is saline soil. So, saline soil is the salt unreasonable present in the soil when blended in with water and travel to the surface of the soil. The saline soil has mostly sodium chloride present in it. Then the saline soil also can perceived by the inconsistent development of harvest and regularly by the presence of white crust on the surface. Also, soil saline can happen when irrigation process happen. Soil that was once used for agriculture purpose before construction can be saline when irrigation process happen, because during irrigation, roots only absorb water, leaving salts of water in the soil behind, because every water source has some salt present in it. So as for saline soil, the salinity causes and symptoms is solidity are frequently confuses, specific ion toxicity, and high pH. Then salt is constituent of nearly everything in nature. Then when there are groundwater fluctuation where salty water is discharged or where topsoil is removed to reveal saline salt, natural salt deposit will occur. Okay, next is a table for general classification of salt affected soil. So as can you see, in this table have a classification, electrical conductivity, soil pH, sodium adsorption ratio, and soil physical. So for classification slightly saline, electrical conductivity have 2 until 4, soil pH less than 8.5, sodium absorption ratio less than 13, and soil physical condition is normal. Then for saline class, electrical conductivity is more than 4, soil pH is less than 8.5, sodium absorption ratio is less than 13, and soil condition physical is normal. Then for sodic, less than 4.0 for electrical conductivity, soil pH is more than 8.5, sodium absorption ratio is more than 13, and soil physical condition is poor. While for saline sodic, electrical conductivity is more than 5 and more than 4, soil pH is less than 8.5, sodium absorption ratio is more than 13, and soil physical condition is varies. And then for the last one is high pH. So for high pH class, electrical conductivity is less than 4, salt pH is more than 7.8, sodium absorption ratio is less than 13, and soil physical condition is varies. Then for diagnosing high pH, salinity or solidity problem. So for high pH, the potential symptom is nutrient deficiency manifesting as stunned yellow plants and dark greens to pearlish plants. While for saline soil, the symptom will occur like white crust on soil surface and water stress plants and leaf tip burns. And for saline irrigation water, leaf burn, poor growth and moisture stress. And for solid soil is poor drainage, black powdery residue on soil surface. And for the last one is saline solid soil, where it's generally same symptom as saline soil.
Hi, my name is Nizar Shambiban Supri. My matric card number is CF180055. I will present about the case study. Next case study is at North Dakota by David Franzen. Most North Dakota salinity is due to sodium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, and calcium sulfate. Also found in groundwater is chloride salt, which has reside or passed through in geological material with significant chloride in their solid matrix. It developed of saline soil where the evaporation surpassed the growing season precipitation and local landscape highlight gather occasional runoff to the growing season. And it formed a water table which at some point rise to under 6 feet underneath the soil surface. This figure 3a shows the development of saline soil near the shallow stream, road ditch and sewage lagoons. Based on this case study, Figure 5 shows a condition in an unpretentiously undulating landscape which is salty clay loam or clay texture. Salt gather on high clay content ridge while the low spots are filtered of salts. Consistent cropping will help lower water table and stop saltiness improvement. In the interim, another genuine saline soil issue, particularly in hilly locale of North Dakota, when saline leaks structure in the landscape when water permeates from higher elevation reach a zone of vertical discontinuity. As a rule of moderately impermeable layer appear in figure 6. Based on Mahmoud Abdul Mois from case study 2016, saline soil, it can diminish the moisture content of the soil and make it dry and rough. Moreover, the unit weight of the soil increase and physical problems such as high compressibility, low bearing capacity, and more expansion. The effect of dissolved salts on the plant growth relies on their concentration in the soil solution. The effect of dissolved salts on plant growth rely upon their concentration in the soil solution, which are focused at the standard field moisture content because of sampling problems. Based on David Franzen, soil areas that are severely affected by salt often have a bright white, crusty appearance when it dry. The severity of the saline area usually extend well beyond the obvious area. In area lacking a surface crust or obvious vegetation loss, salts are dissolved in soil water and we cannot be seen. So, modifying water management through appropriate irrigation practice is appropriate. After an irrigation, the soil moisture content is most extreme and the salt concentration or the osmotic pressure of the soil solution is minimal. On the other hand, more frequent irrigation by keeping the soil at a higher soil moisture content impacts up the concentration of salt in the soil solution and will have higher soil moisture content.
In conclusion, soil are one of the most important aspects that engineers need to deal in all type of construction. So soil is the first thing that construction phase will begin with, as it important if the problematic soil and grounded area problems were not handling well before the starting of the project. So the requirement for the soil to be used under construction are prominent, as it is one of the factors that could be as the cause for the successful project, as it is a strength and foundation of our building project. So based on the case study that we have gathered, there are possible problems in soil and come with the solution. The case study also had given us the right technique to handle the problems in order to improve our ground base of the project. So these are the type of soil problem based on our studies. So for the type of soil, we have cohesive soil, cohesionless soil, collapsible and expansional soil, and soil liquefactions, acidic, alkaline and salty soil, and last is the low dense soil.
That's all from us. Thank you.